I know we talked a little bit about the subconscious minds, but I'd like to know, like, how does it come into play when we're trying to be the best version of ourselves?
The subconscious mind is so tricky because it's subconscious. The crazy thing about it is that so much of what we do and how we feel and is directed by our subconscious mind, like 99% of what we do. But we are often unaware of what's in our subconscious. So we're unaware of how we're being directed. And the thing is, our subconscious mind is mostly developed from the ages of 0 to 7. So we often don't even remember starting these subconscious programs in the first place. So we've just lived our whole lives in this subconscious programming that we're not even aware that we have. What is really interesting about the process of working with your subconscious is you start to release these layers, and every time it's like, wow, I didn't know that was there. Wow, I didn't know I felt that way. Wow, I didn't know I had that belief. And for me recently, just uncovering a deeply embedded subconscious trauma that I had completely blocked out. I did not know that happened. There's so much, it's like a gold mine in your subconscious. But the thing is, the reason it's tricky is that the subconscious, it's like this intricate design of protection that was created by you. So the parts that you're trying to get to, there are all these protecting parts. Richard Schwartz calls them protectors that don't want you to get to them because they were hurt and they don't want to be hurt again. So you've developed these subconscious mechanisms, defense mechanisms to keep you from accessing those parts. So that's why we'll often feel like, oh, I'm confident. I feel good. I'm fine. It's a mechanism. It's a protector who's like, well, you don't really, but I don't want you to see that. I don't want to go back there. So let's just pretend everything's okay. Right. And there's so many ways that your subconscious will protect you that feel like you. It feels like that's the way I've always done things. This is who I am, but they're not. It's not. So that's to me the most mind blowing thing about it is like the truth of who you are is underneath all of that.
Yeah. I actually had something that came forth after the session I had with you during one of the breathwork sessions. And I know this came up in our reading about me like showing my face and being in the public eye. And I remembered this happening. So it's not like I forgot about it, but I didn't realize how much it affected me was I had passed out during a presentation in front of my class. I always say, like, we're always doing the best we can with the tools we have. And my parents' reaction to it was not very supportive. And I was like already lightly traumatized. I wasn't extremely traumatized, but I was traumatized about passing out in front of my class and I had to be carried out. I also remembered that my friend had passed away and I wrote her a poem and they wanted me to read it in front of the thousands of people and I like could not do it. And it was that weekend it all came crashing down. It was like during that meditation, I was giving a speech on stage and I was telling that version of myself that was in middle school that look at you now. Look, I'm on stage and I'm talking up here for you. So you can do this. And then when I came home, like my mom had brought up that whole poem that I wrote and the priest ended up reading it for me. I didn't realize like that is how it was all connected of like I put up this barrier of like I can't speak on stage because I'm going to pass out and I was sad that I couldn't say this. Funny, I don't know if funny is the word, but I had this realization of I'm speaking on stage. It's my future version talking to my past younger version. And it was like, look at you, you could do this. And then there was another conference next to our meditation and they all started to applause the moment I had this like realization and I had like chills in my body that it was like, you get to decide, you get to change this. You don't have to be scared anymore. Like you can be strong, you can go up on stage and you can talk. And so it was like all these little pieces of these things, like you were saying, like the breadcrumbs of that subconscious that I was protecting myself. That's why I never wanted to speak in front of people. It was just that embarrassing moment. And then I was embarrassed from that. And then I was kind of embarrassed when I got home from it too. So it was just, it all came together.
That is a perfect example. And I'm so happy you had that experience of unraveling that to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how much we do to protect ourselves with our subconscious. And that if we're like open to getting out and, you know, learning more about how we can be the better versions of ourselves, it's powerful when we do the work, right?
Yeah. I would just say with your subconscious, if you're new to this work, like just don't take anything at face value, right? If your mind is telling you something, investigate it. Like, is that true? Let's sit with this a little bit longer. Let's see what comes up, just like you did.
It's hard, and it's learning about yourself and giving yourself the love and support you need in that moment, right? That's ultimately it. Like, you have to make yourself feel safe to be able to come out from that pattern that we've grown up with.
Yeah.
Welcome to Floductivity, the channel that guides you on a transformative journey towards spiritual wisdom, self-development, and healing practices, all aimed at elevating your intuition and aligning you with your soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kara Dempsey, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me today as we learn together.